Yo, my sisters and brothers, thank you for joining us on Movement Es Medicina, a SuperMarkRock podcast. I am SuperMarkRock, aka Dr. Mark A. Lopez. Movement Es Medicina is just that, a movimiento, a movement. I am aiming to motivate gente, the people, the community to build healthy habits and rituals by speaking to me, gente, specifically my A1s, my brothers and sisters, my hermanas y hermanos, dope-educated individuals, and exploring their active lifestyles and mental well-being strategies to recognize our collective dopeness in the process. Speaking of educating individuals, I'm joined by Vanessa Peralta Mitchell, aka CEO of VCPM Incorporated, aka changing the writing industry, aka a Drexel Dragon, sister and mana. Welcome to Movement Es Medicina, a SuperMarkRock podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Really, really happy to be here. And thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely, Vanessa. Let's jump in. I appreciate you taking time this evening. Share for our listeners, for our viewers. What's your story? Who are you? Tell us about Vanessa Peralta Mitchell.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Such a really juicy place to start, which is anywhere, right?
That's right. That's right.
And no, my name is Vanessa Peralta Mitchell, and I'm a born and raised Jersey girl. My parents came here from Ecuador, and I grew up being a voice for my mom. I grew up very shy, very timid, very unsure of what to say, maybe even what to think. And I'm sure we'll go into that part a little bit more.
Mhm.
But just to tell you about who I am, it really built me into the woman that I've become. I didn't come from being like the loudest in the room or, the one that was put my hand up to lead the way. I was very much the person that would fade to the background,
Mhm.
the one that would put their eyes down and hoping that no one would see me. And if they did, I would turn so red, just from pure embarrassment that it really left me with this. I want to say, I feel like I was a confident person because I feel like my parents wouldn't let me grow up otherwise,
Mhm.
to have that proudness of who we are as people, as a family, representing Ecuador, me carrying that on as a first generation. So all those built this quiet confidence that I had inside. I just didn't know how to turn that into like actionable confidence outward. It really was a lot of different things that got me there, but mainly sports brought out this level of confidence in me that I didn't even know I had in myself. I definitely attribute that a lot to playing soccer with my father out on the fields, and he did not take it easy on me. That really helped me to have a good foundation of being centered,
Mhm.
knowing who I am as a person, and that shyness, that timidness, really, I turned those into strengths by learning that I could handle challenges. I had this inner
Mhm.
confidence, and running really got me to do that. Running was that vehicle that I was able to, change those
Okay.
challenges into something that was felt like a sense of accomplishment, and really put me in this space of like limitlessness, right? There's a limited
Mhm.
feeling of like, oh my goodness, like I didn't think that I could do that. And now I have. So what else is out there for me to accomplish? So
Mhm.
that is a high level, quick synopsis of who I was, and how it's still a part of me, even to this day, as the founder of my business, VCPM Inc., the creator of the Game Changers and Powered programs.
Mhm.
Today, I still find myself where I'm like having this quieter voice or like this level of uncertainty inside me. And you know what? I love that piece of me. I feel
Mhm.
it keeps me true to who I am and to the people
Mhm.
I serve and the mission of amplifying voices unheard. And so that was first my mom's, and it was at one point my own, but now I get to amplify all our voices. I know we'll go into that a lot more.
We definitely will. We definitely will. And I love that. And that's something I definitely would like to explore more of is that amplification of our voice and specifically in your roles of amplifying and uplifting women of color in this space. So thank you for sharing that and sharing a bit about you to get an opportunity for our listeners, our viewers to connect with you on a personal level. But I want to dig a little more and have the opportunity for our viewers and listeners to connect with you a little further. I want to ask you a few lightning round questions, quick fire, just whatever comes top of mind, real quick, just shoot them out, okay? Is that cool?
Oh man, here we go. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Listo. Favorite food?
Oh my goodness. Whatever my mom cooks.
Who is the better cook, you or your husband?
Oh, me, hands down. He will
Who is
co-sign that.
R&B?
R&B.
R&B, okay. Okay, go to pre-run fuel.
Uh, I would say probably, it used to be like a slice of toast with peanut butter, but now I do eat a hearty breakfast and then wait like an hour or 2 hours to run. So,
Okay,
uh,
okay. Your
yeah,
favorite movie?
a Bronx Tale.
Great movie. One of
Yeah.
my favorites too. Your favorite race you have done to date?
Any 10-mile race. That is my sweet spot. I
Your sweet
love
spot.
10 mile. Any 10 mile I have loved. Yeah.
All right. AM or PM runner?
Both.
Well, that's
Yeah. As a mama 3, I get it in where I can fit it in.
exactly. You can fit it in. Favorite U.S. city?
Oh, that is a tricky one. You know what? I'm a North Jersey girl, and I still have a space in my heart for New York City. So I
All
love New
right.
York City. Yeah.
All right. Favorite international city?
I automatically think of Madrid. I did the Madrid Marathon when I was 30
Mm.
years old, and me and my husband celebrated out there. So there's something special about that space.
Okay. Where are you traveling to next?
San Francisco in
That
3 weeks.
was
We
all
have our
right.
Game Changers race meetup.
All right. Love that city. Love that city. Your go-to hip song during a workout or run?
Ooh, I don't listen to music when I'm running or working out. But if I
Mm,
had to think of something
mm.
hype, it would probably be something that my husband would play, some type of rap song, probably. Or go throw on a good salsa beat, and that'll probably get me going.
All right. Where are you running next?
Actually, after this call, I have a 5 mile, 5 mile on deck from my standard 5 mile loops.
All right. So I stand between you and those 5 miles. So
It's all good because you're also standing between me and the heat. So I'm thankful.
yeah, that's the other. I appreciate that. Vanessa, thank you so much. An opportunity for our viewers, our listeners, to get to know you a bit, to connect with you on some of your interests and on a personal level. So I appreciate you sharing a bit about you on the personal side. So tell us about VCPM Incorporated. You have a number of programs. You're a business owner. You have Howard. You have Game Changers. You partner with New York Railroaders, and amongst others. That doesn't even tip the scale of who you partner with. Tell us about it all, man. Who is BCPM Incorporated?
And so VCPM Incorporated, which stands for the initials of my full name, it's a business dedicated to using the power of the pavement to empower women to live a life without limits. The way we do that is by these two signature programs. So we have Game Changers.
Hmm.
So Game Changers is a nationwide program. We provide resources and funding. And the idea there is to have more women of color become certified running coaches. And there's a very specific mission with Game Changers, and that's redefining who people see as experts and leaders in the running space. So it's not just about getting women of color to running because there are already a good number of us in this running
Yeah.
space, but it's taking it to another level of thinking about who's leading the way, who's at the helm,
Right.
who's making those
Right.
decisions, who are people Googling as experts, who people are citing as sources in their publications, who's on the microphones, on podcasts, writing books. It can go on and on and on.
On
And
and
what
on.
we're
That's right.
doing is we're utilizing this vehicle of coaching
Mm.
to be this way that we impact not only our communities, but also the masses, normalizing that women of color can become and can be leaders and experts in this space.
Absolutely.
With our other program, Powered, we're taking that in a direction where we want to have our coaches in a space of leadership and power. So we partner with road races so that we can provide online group training to their registrants. And so we work with inclusive road races like the Philadelphia Distance Run in Philly,
Mhm. Mm.
the race in Atlanta. It's called The Race.
A race. That's right.
Another partner. And it's really funny because, like, as we build out these two programs, a lot of times people think that, oh, like you only coach women or you only coach women of color. It's like, no, excuse me. No, it's not. When you think about so many, whether it's collegiate or even professional sports, there
Mhm.
are men coaching women's teams,
That's right.
but when it comes to women coaching other people, whether it's other women or men or non binary, people think it's not a thing, you know? So there's like this
Hmm.
connotation that women only coach women. And we're here to say, no, we're here to normalize the fact that we can be experts in this space. And and at a high level, those are the programs. I definitely couldn't go into more detail if you need.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, it's a beautiful space that you created. And like you mentioned, in numerous spaces, whether it's your website, PR materials, marketing materials, social media, at the essence is building community. At the essence of what you are doing is bringing women of color together to show that representation matters, that we do belong in this space, that while we may not see us as a norm in these spaces, we belong here. We've been here in these spaces. And you're trying to really normalize that. Hey, no, we have a voice here. We have a space here and we do belong. So it's beautiful that you are bringing community, not only around coaching, but empowerment through the game changers, through powers, that you are bringing others along with you in this journey to say, hey, we're going to do this collectively, but then individually, nationwide, now partner with these various road races and show that our collective impact and what it's doing at a national scale. And I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. One of the things we looked at in the beginning was data, right? Like what kind of data
Hmm.
can we find on women of color coaching and post collegiate, right? And there wasn't a lot of data. So we said, you know what, screw that. We're going to collect it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so from the very beginning, we've been collecting our own data. Some of the things you spoke about, not only does the data show us that what the game changers are getting from the program, but they're also showing that the level of confidence built. It's like 86.5% of the game changers that go through the program are finding this level of confidence, and 68% are finding that level of confidence, not just from coaching, but in their everyday life. So I think that's the beauty of what we're doing is not just providing someone with an opportunity to become a certified run coach, right? But it's really this space where they can thrive and have all these support and resources to find this level of confidence, that
Mm-hmm.
piece of them that lives inside, but maybe they just need to tap into or maybe get it pulled out, just like the
That's
little
right.
girl in me,
Right.
I
That's
little
right.
Hillary, I had to pull out that confidence. And we're enabling these coaches and these women of color to do that. You unleash that level confidence within someone that it's really you see them soar. You know what I mean? They don't only show up to tell the world like, "Hey, I'm a coach," which, by the way, Mark, that's not easy to do
It's not,
when
oh,
you're
not at
not
all. Right.
when you're not. You got to get to that. That's a journey
Hmm.
of itself. Then you're taking it a step further because you're not only telling people in your safety zone of your community and your family and your friends, but you're taking it a step further to tell the running space, the industry, you know what I mean? Publications like Runner's World or Self Magazine, all publications that have worked with game changers now. Like when you put it out there to the masses, to have that level of confidence, not just a couple of us, but we're throughout the nation, really makes a resounding message of women of color taking up space in this way when they're not doing it alone. There's this force behind us, which is each and every one of the game changers that shows up each and every day.
Amen. Amen. And I could not agree more, that you all are showing up in these spaces, not only representing uh you and your impact, but they're representing their community, their familias. They're serving as role models for their local families, their local communities that, hey, this is possible. Because you're absolutely correct. I mean, I think in your introduction, you mentioned about you didn't say these words, but I associated with imposter syndrome. I still identify as a new runner. I still identify as someone who's still trying to navigate this space that I suffer from imposter syndrome in these spaces because you look around, pick a race, like, damn, where are we? You see a couple brown people, you see a couple black brothers and sisters, you see a couple indigenous people, you're just like, where are we? I know we're here. I know we're in these spaces. So that imposter syndrome is real. And you're helping breaking that barrier, you know what I'm saying, by changing the narrative, saying, no, we belong here. Not only are you going to receive the credentials by becoming a running certified coach, but now you have a resource, you have something in your toolbox to say, no, this is a further validation that you belong in this space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that we do that through Game Changers in particular is the 9-month program for the nationwide program. We're able to keep it a free program right now with a selection process through our presenting
Mm,
sponsor, Brooks. And then we have a New York City cohort that is specific to that. New York City area, we're partnered with New York Road Runners. The program works nationwide. It's 9 months. The coaches, well, they're not coaches at first, but they come into the program and they get certified through RRCA. Road Runners Club of America is also
mhm.
one of our partners. And they get certified through them, and American Red Cross comes in to get them certified. Well, they test, of course, to certify for CPR first aid. Then they move
Hmm.
on to business strategists, because when someone gets certified, there is this level of excitement. But then it's like, well, what do you want to do with that, right? Give
Right.
them some clarity and some structure towards their vision and their goal. And then they go into a 6-month mentorship. And so that woman is a woman of color herself. She is a certified run coach herself. She's just been doing it a little bit longer.
Mm.
But I
Okay.
always call our mentors the secret sauce to the program.
Love it. I love it.
It's certainly a special component. So, all the things you had just mentioned before, there's real structure, there's real strategy, there's a real intention behind the Game Changers program. So we aren't just giving people this space to say, hey, I'm a coach,
Hmm.
but really intending for them to thrive in particularly in spaces that weren't designed with us in mind to begin with.
That's right. That's right. That's right. 100%. And I think for me, when I initially connected with you on LinkedIn, I was doing some benchmarking and trying to figure out my way in these spaces because I was at a pivotal point in my career, my professional chapter, if you will, of am I going to pivot into something that I'm passionate about? Because I believe we're all multi-passionate individuals. I mean, clearly with you and the multiple programs you have under your company. And I came across you and the data that you were presenting, the blog that you were writing, like, damn, here's one of a handful of Latina sisters that I've found in this space. I think I could count on one hand that we're really writing about this, bringing it to the forefront of running, hermana. And, as you mentioned, your journey began in sports, playing soccer, playing football with your puppy. That was your entryway into an active lifestyle, into running, into seeing this as a way of life, as culture, as a connection with your father. Tell me about where this whole business venture began for you. I know you had the running piece, you had the sports piece in your youth, but when did you come to that realization? Like this is the lane I see myself. This is the lane I want to empower, uplift other sisters in this space. When did that click, that switch turn on for you?
Yeah. You know, in the moment, it wasn't as clear as a switch or a click, but I
Mm,
recognize the time during my life where I can say like, oh, like, that was it. So growing up, my father owned his own business, and I never wanted for myself. Growing up, seeing your father work with like every cousin and everybody that came here from Ecuador, or like every boyfriend or girlfriend, and every brother, sister, like everybody was with my father. And there was just a thin line between
mm,
family and business that I never wanted to cross. So I literally, it's two things that come to me. One, I literally said I would never own my own business. So by my own time. And two, do you know I was the only one that never worked for my father? Like never. The only one. And I'll make this point.
wow.
And the third point is I'm the only one now that owns my own business. I was really strong headed about not being in this space. But it was a moment that I actually had with my mother. So my mother is certainly the backbone, not only of the family, but my father's business. When I was, oh, I want to say when I maybe just around when I turned 40, my mom, a woman who came to this country and had her desires to further her education and to
Mm,
fulfill her goals, she came here and ended up, choosing matrimony and motherhood and really put all that on the side. Some might even say on hold. But the thing was now fast forward and kids grown up and moved out, and our kids are getting older, and some of the grandkids even have kids. And so there was
mhm,
this incident that happened amongst the family, and my mom and I were sitting in um their dining room, which was
mhm,
mine, you know what I mean, back in the day. But I can remember so vividly. This is dining room that my parents kind of almost used as an office desk,
mm,
like manila folders, and my dad always had his yellow pads and stacks of papers, the rubber bands holding the stacks together, and paper, like all these things, telling of the amount of responsibility my mom has.
right.
Not as a certified real estate, because my dad was in real estate, or not as a foundation founder, because my father founded an Ecuadorian American foundation, but as a
Mm,
woman that was so supportive of her husband and his goals and dreams that fast forward all these years later, she had realized that she came here and never fulfilled her own. And it was mixed with a whole bunch of other family things that were going on. You have to understand that maybe a lot of people who are listening to this can relate, but my mom is the strongest woman I know. She is
Yeah.
had so much orgullo, so much
Uh-huh.
pride in who she is. And the way that she was just layer by layer, just being so vulnerable and so sensitive and so exposed of like how she felt and the tears. And I meant I was in partnership with her crying and
Mm,
not for my own feelings, but I could say hers were reflecting off of me. And it wasn't that she was saying she was regretful. And it wasn't that. I
right.
think it was more of this moment of realization. She had had these hopes and dreams and she never got a chance to fulfill them. And she felt that it was too late.
Mm,
And I didn't know it at that moment. But like I said, looking back, I realized that she was in some way pouring those hopes and those dreams and those desires into me.
mm,
And it really gave me this feeling of I don't have to wait to fulfill my dreams. Like nothing's too bigger than what I can think of in my own mind. Like I
mhm,
can fulfill any hope, any dream, any goal that I have right now. And that moment was so special to me. And I didn't know how to really almost like keep it precious in my hands. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I carried
yeah.
it in my heart for a while and not knowing that it was really lighting a fire, really
Mm,
planting a seed before I even knew what was to take flight or to grow. And looking back, when I had gotten this idea to build game changers, and it wasn't as easy of like, oh, I'm going to build game changers. Like that was its
yeah,
own process. But when it
yeah.
came down to like calling LegalZoom and putting together my business and making it incorporated and saying like, I'm going to be a business owner, it made it such a realistic thing for me. Like
Mm,
how dare I not fulfill dreams and goals and desires that my mom wasn't able to do? How dare I not show up for her,
right.
for both of us in this way? And again, it wasn't like I was using that language as I was making those decisions, but it's
Mhm,
something different than just something deeper, I should say, than just words. Like that moment with my mom lived inside me.
absolutely.
And when it came time to pull it out,
Mm,
I was ready. I was igniting. I was fired up. I felt limitless. I felt like this is what I'm supposed to do. And I thank my mom so much for giving me that moment to really lean on.
that's beautiful, hermana. I love that because often as mothers are in many Latina households, Latino households, the matriarchs of everything.
Yeah.
It's the things that we are ever introduced to in our lives and know personally. So I can attest to that statement. It's beautiful how many of our gente specifically lean on those relationships with our parents and specifically, that special bond that we have with our moms. And she really, like you said, just planted that seed. And you nurtured that seed for years for you to come to that realization. Like you said, you weren't articulating it in the moment. You weren't pulling on that in the moment, but it was that epiphany, like you said, like, damn, that's what she was doing all this time. All this time that she was giving me this wisdom, the strength, the values, the pride, as you mentioned, saying that I can go forth and do this for not only myself as a Latina, as a business owner, as a professional, but for my own family. And what that let to touch you, you know what I'm saying? That now with children, as you mentioned, that what does that mean? What does that mean for your babies, your beautiful babies on, they see their mom, CEO, businesswoman. So that you said that never a business. And look at you. You're doing the damn thing. You are doing it and they see you. This superwoman, this amazing mom that like, yeah, that's my mom. That's their norm. They see this, what I'm saying, versus our mothers. I agree with you that they kind of had to put the dreams, they had to kind of put things on hold for her to take care of the family, take care of their partner, take care of the other kids, other community members, other familia members that were going on in real time. But your kids are seeing this in real time, you doing the damn thing. What does that mean for you?
Well, I always like to keep things real as possible. And being a business owner um is not a light lift. My husband also
Yeah.
a business owner. It's
Okay.
so we're two people of color that
Mhm.
have their own businesses and we have children and you know, it's definitely a space where you try to find as much harmony as you can.
Mm,
So harmony meaning like there's ebbs and
mhm.
flows. That's just me keeping it real in terms of like it's not
Yeah,
easy, but
absolutely
in
not.
terms of like what they see and how much it really like makes my heart smile is when my 8-year-old is talking about starting her own business. Or like,
I
our
love
older
it.
son who's 20 in like a couple weeks, he can't see himself like working for someone else, or our younger son, 13-year-old, wanted to like sell candy, you know what I mean? To like to do his own thing. And so all these little moments of seeing this entrepreneurial spirit, but not just that, like the sense of independence, right?
Mhm.
There's so much that isn't taught to us at schools and education. And I'm sure that's a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah.
that level of like standing on your own 2 feet or knowing about financials, so many things that are not taught in school. And for them to even have some seeds planted at their different ages of how they're interpreting it that themselves. Like I'm sure none of them are saying like, "Oh, because I saw my mom own her own business, I wanna open up a toy shop." Or like, because I saw my father one of our children said, "Oh, because I saw dad owning his own business for 11
Mhm.
years." By the way, my husband's been open for 11 years, which is amazing.
That's beautiful.
Um,
That's beautiful.
but it's not I don't know if they're necessarily say, "Because of that, I'm going to now be a business owner." But the fact
Mm,
that they're taking what they're seeing and how they're being raised and really forming their own version of that. And I think that was
mhm,
the hardest thing for me, honestly. I saw my father's story and
mhm.
thought that's not for me. But how could it be? That was his journey.
Right.
Anyone who's listening right now, like whether it's your story, Mark, or my story, or the next person or the person before me, and if someone's like, "Wow, like that's a lot, like that's not for me," you're right.
Mhm.
It's our stories are not for anyone else. They're our
Mm.
own.
That's right.
So much beauty in that.
Mhm,
There's so much to leave for the unknown. And sometimes we get so stuck in like wanting to have such a way, like a structure, a plan, and you should have those things, but you also leave a little space for like, I don't know, maybe there's something out there for me that I don't know that exists. I think just being in this space and having both my parents pour into me in different ways. Like my father with like the business side and my mom more of the like rooted um foundational pieces of how I show up have been really important for me.
no, that's beautiful, Vanessa. And I could not agree more. Our journey, our own journeys, and one of the hardest lessons that I've had to come to terms with during this healing journey, which I often refer to in my active lifestyle, is one of healing. And I often preach this. I get on my soapbox and preach about healing, that my wellness, my active lifestyle, my modality of running, my preference is to run as well, is one of healing, one that our ancestors practiced, one that our community has practiced for generation. It's in our blood, it's in our sign, it's in our something our ancestors practiced time and time again was running. But this healing journey is one that I had to be vulnerable about, that it took me so long just to hold on and grasp through that. I wouldn't want to share it. I didn't just want to speak to it, speak to the mental health challenges, speak to what I was experiencing inside on a fundamental level, whether it was because of work, whether it was because of the personal, the professional, the generational shit that we struggled with as well. I was laid off. I was battling depression. I was going through financial challenges, etc. But that journey of mine changed one day, 7 years ago, by going outside for a walk. And I share this time and time again. Just I had to do something to get out of this that I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And that one walk turned into my wellness journey. I had no idea that's what I was doing. I had no idea that I was embarking on this journey of healing, but that was my journey. And I had to share that with people. Like, damn, years later, 7 years to be exact, that's when my healing began. That was my time to be like, damn, that switch went off for me of saying, it is my temple now to really focus on me in my healing. And that's when I turned everything around to heal for myself. And I've been practicing this healing ever since. And this is a form of being in community, speaking to badasses like yourself who are in the space. And I say all that because I firmly believe that we are on a journey of healing and this wellness space that we are both in. When did the wellness journey begin for you?
Yeah. Oh, I think it began for me when running helped me find my voice. Like
Mm,
that was this mental space that I never really tapped into before. And I don't know. I'm not sure I would have found that on my own. So running, especially like the way I
mm,
coach, you gotta train your mind just as much as you train your body.
that's right.
And money running, the mental side is like 90% mental, they say, right? So
Mm,
for me, it was like that healing was really more like a self-discovery, right?
mm,
That healing of identifying pieces of me and that they weren't weaknesses, that they weren't bad things, they weren't negative things. Like
mhm.
they're what made me me. And in those moments of solitude, because we all hit them when we're running
Yeah.
on the road or in a race, uh, that I had this level of grit and determination and passion
Mhm.
and consistency and that all lived inside me. I don't know if healing is the appropriate word, but like that transformation, it for me was definitely through running. And the crazy part is, Mark, that my first race was a 10K, and I did not know 5Ks existed back then.
Okay.
Um, but I didn't train properly. I had some old sneakers on. Who knows the handful of times I might have practiced, and went out for some workouts on
Mm,
old track in my husband's like old sweatshirt and a big old sweatpants. I mean, I did all the things wrong.
right.
And I did this 10K and my knees really, well, they already tore up. Play, I used to play softball. I was like a catcher. So I feel like my knees are always kind of messed up. Before I even crossed the finish line, my knees gave out. I'm like barely shuffling, walking, running. You're looking like you're jogging, but you're really not moving very fast at all.
Yes, yes.
And it was horrible for me. It was a worst experience ever. And I
Mm,
would say that day could have been both my debut and my departure for
right,
me.
right.
But there was something about the fact that I did it, right? All of that, despite the experience and despite
Mhm.
maybe doubting myself along the way during those 6.2 excruciating miles, but that I still did it. It really, that transformation started to happen because, my original goal, which before I ran that 10K, my original goal, I went from 0 to 100. My original goal was like, I'm going to run the New York City Marathon. And so that first race was like the beginning of that journey, but I didn't realize how hard. I knew it was gonna be difficult, but I guess until
Mm,
you're in it, you really don't realize how crazy, insane it is and what you're putting your body through. And at that
mhm.
moment, I didn't realize that it was also what I was putting my mind through.
Right,
And
right.
I needed that. I
Mm,
I I needed that because so many things has happened these last 19, almost 20 years that I've been running. I too
mm,
was laid off. I was pregnant with our third child, 7 months pregnant with our third child when I
mm,
had gotten laid off. But I leaned on running after I had the baby, of course. But that really catapulted me into getting certified and really was the beginning of my journey
mm,
building game changers. But again, like having that mental toughness and realizing this transformation can come from the inside out, that there
mhm.
weren't external factors that really were limiting me. It was perhaps my own limitations that were preventing me from really fulfilling my purpose on this earth.
Mm,
Crazy enough that running really got me to realize that these moments of transition, these moments of transformation that were happening at whatever mile, day one, it was probably mile one. And
Mm.
nowadays it's like a little bit more, maybe about 8 or 10, or if I'm training for a marathon, a little further down the road.
That's
But
right.
those moments of transition, those moments of transformation, are like these building blocks and these stepping stones
Mm-mm.
that are making something within me really withstand my own mental limitation. And I really am blessed that I'm able to run and that I
Mhm.
get to do this. And like you said before, it's a privilege in the space that we're in. And it's I'm doing my best not to take for granted of that.
No, that's beautifully said. And it really is a transformation, Vanessa, that something that I really share with new runners, those that are on the fence of, well, I have bad knees or I've never been a runner before, and sharing my own testimony with them. Neither was I. But you're absolutely correct. The transformation that you go through in your journey, wherever you're in that journey of healing, of transformation, of trying to become better than you were yesterday, right? It's beautiful to witness that realization when someone comes into that aha moment, that building block, as you alluded to, is that they are constantly becoming stronger and becoming the best version of themselves after every step, after every mile, after every block that they hit. Like, damn, this is possible, and that I could do hard things because, as you said, running is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart at all. It's not.
Yes, echoing that for sure. I remember I had a friend in college that asked me to go for a run. This was before I was running, you know? So I said to her, why? Like, why would we go running? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And it was something like so quote unquote simple, you know, like I played sports. So I like ran all the time, but it's like running just to run, like wasn't a thing for me. And we did in fact run around the block and I was winded and all the things. But yeah, until you get out there and move. And to anyone listening, you know, running, I understand running can seem intimidated. I am not the type of person that says running is for everybody and you should do it. I mean, I think movement is for everybody though.
Mhm.
So, like, whether that's a walk or whether that's a bike ride or whether that's a conversation with someone as you walk to the bench and you sit for the rest of the time. I mean, I think and everything you represent, Mark, is that that movement is that's the medicine, right?
Right,
You
right.
throw in fellowship and community, and then you have such important ingredients for the perfect recipe.
That's right. That's right. You know, running, I believe, is our modality of medicina, but I know you strength train. Like I said, you go for walks. Same here. I cycle. I practice yoga. That's just my preferred choice of modality to remain active. But I love to balance it out as well because you're absolutely correct. Running is not for everybody. People do have, physical challenges that enable them to. And so this is a privilege. And I recognize that privilege that I get to do this. And it's my choice to do this. Just getting out and moving is key, Vanessa. Thank you for saying that. Now, I want to share with you. I read a recent article in New York Roadrunners magazine entitled "Changing the Game: Women of Color Run Coaches Redefining the Industry," and that's you. And none of that is you. You are redefining the space. I mean, I want to repeat that again for our listener, for our viewers. You are redefining the industry of running and the culture and the community of run coaching. What does that mean to you, sis? What does that mean?
Uh, I feel very humbled. I feel very, you know, I often talk about dots. I feel like just one dot of many that really are making it happen. It only takes a pebble to make a ripple, right? They say in the water. So the
That's right.
fact that I'm one of so many pebbles or dots, we're making one hell of a ripple. And it's really puts me in a place of humbleness to know that the industry is taking notice. When I realized that there was this untapped resource of the expertise and the knowledge and the lived experiences that we have
Mhm.
as women of color, that nobody was tapping into that, and that we ourselves didn't even
Nobody.
realize
Right.
that, hey, like the way that we've been living and the way that we have all these different touch points to health or wellness or movement or running, we can bring that with us and
Mhm.
educate the masses through our lens, through the way that we see things, the way
That's
that
right.
no one else sees things. And the thing is, the beautiful part of that is that we can all relate to each other. So we don't got
Mhm.
to do it alone.
That's right.
So when you say like, what does it mean to me? And there comes a point when you realize that something is bigger than you. And I think one of the first moments when I did realize that is, it just and is there's this feeling of like, I don't know, I almost can't put it into words. It's just you feel that there's like this flow of like energy and like there's this like unstoppable force that's not
Hmm.
just me. How dare it be just me? You know what I mean?
Right.
It
Right.
wouldn't be sustainable if it was just one person.
That's
So
right.
the fact that like people can take something from Game Changers and carry it on, for me, Game Changers always ties back to my mom and
Hmm.
being that little girl that would stand next to her in spaces where her Spanish was her, Spanish is her first language and English being her second language. A lot of times I would talk on her behalf and people would
Hmm.
treat us differently. People would be
Yep.
disrespectful to her. And if I wasn't speaking on her behalf, then my mom was speaking on both of our behalves to say like that she's not stupid, that she understands, and that the person was disrespecting her.
Mhm.
And how dare they not respect her the way that she had respect for herself.
That's right.
And so like I was in those spaces at such a like vulnerable time of life with a child growing up to know that I know what it feels like to not be heard. I know what it feels like when someone is downgrading your level of intelligence or downgrading the respect level that you have.
That's right.
Now, for me, I am blessed to do today thing that I couldn't do for my mom when I was
Hmm.
8, 9, 10 years old. So when I think about game changers for me, it's like understanding and really putting all my passion into the fact that I don't want our voices to not be heard anymore. I don't want us to wait for our turn to share expertise, to gain that respect, to have the value of of what we bring to the table. And in that way, I feel like I'm continually honoring my mother and the fact that I can put that in a way that resonates with other people because
Hmm.
so many people know what it feels like for their voice not to be heard. And the fact that we can
That's right.
provide all our voices that we feel are unheard, that's the beauty of it. So it makes me feel like that synergy of amplification is beyond me. And I literally thank God constantly. I'm a big prayer. Like I wake up every day. It's the first thing I do. I pray and then I
Hmm.
meditate. And I'm just in this space of continual gratitude and understanding that my role is small here. Yes, I know I'm the creator and founder and all the titles that go with that. But my role is small. And I sure hope it gets smaller and smaller because I do want that ripple and that amplification to grow and grow until it's normalized in terms of who we are and how we show up.
Well said. I mean, you're doing this, sis. You are doing the damn thing. You and this amazing community of women of color in the running space. I mean, strongly believe we need to reclaim this space because we've been doing it for generations. This is in our sangha. We movement, running. Our ancestors and elders have been doing this for generations. And whether it was our parents or grandparents or great grandparents who could not because they were navigating work, navigating familia, navigating immigration, migration, etc., not having the opportunity to practice what has been in our blood, in our DNA for generations. Now here we are, both of us, trying to bring back to our communities, uplift our communities, and you're doing it. You're doing just that. You're reclaiming, saying that, hey, we are here. We've been here, and we're going to kick down the door and make sure that we are seen, we are heard, and bringing other sisters along in this journey. So I appreciate that work that y'all. I mean, it's beautifully said. Mm.
Think, you know,
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you, you're a CEO, you're a movement enthusiast, you're a mom, a partner, wife. How do you keep it all moving? I mean, how do you prioritize mental health and wellness in your day-to-day life? How do you keep it all together? Like you said, you start with prayer and meditation. I do the same every morning. What else do you do? What are some of those practices? What are some of the norms that you do to keep it all moving?
yeah, those two things are so important to me to pray and to continually ask God for guidance. There was this dream I had once that I'm not ready to share with the world, but there was this switch for me because I felt like I was constantly asking God for help. For me, in the way that I was using that help was like as if I couldn't find the answers, right? Like it lived outside of me. Like, help me search, help me do this, help me do that. And there was this switch that really enabled me to ask God for guidance, guide me, which for me, it felt like more like take me to where I'm supposed to be. Take me to where my purpose is. Take me to what the story and the path that you have for me. And it was more putting me in the space of like the answers live within me. Just guide me to it.
Mhm.
And that was the biggest change for my prayers. But so, yes, I pray first every day and then I meditate, which took me a while to get into. And I do anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. It all depends what's on the
Mhm.
Peloton app.
Shout
um,
out to Peloton. Shout out to
yeah,
Peloton.
I have the Peloton. I don't own a Peloton. That's my disclaimer, but the app is definitely worth the purchase. But those two things, not the third thing I do too is mobility work. So anyone who's listening, if you're in any type of movement, please look into mobility work. It's
That's
just,
right.
utilizes and capitalizes on your range of motion. And especially
Mhm.
if you sit down a lot, if you have a job or a career that you're at a desk, your hips, which carry a lot of tension,
Yes.
you want
Yes.
to get into some more hip mobility. So those are the three things that are super solid on my to-dos once I get out of bed. Then once I get to my desk, and there's a lot of things that happen between then and the bedtime. Um, but there's a routine I have here, which is saying my affirmations, writing my goals, literally writing them down, and then journaling. And I've been pretty solid this year on those as part of my routine. And I really like the fact that I can have a good foundation before I pour out, right? But before
Mhm.
I answer this
Right.
email, go on this meeting, do this follow up, have this touch base. There's so much of that on my constant to
Mhm.
do that, getting to my desk and really pouring into myself is super important for me because I don't want to work on an empty tank of gas.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm a firm believer in creating healthy rituals, healthy habits by starting our day. The way we start our day is the way we're going to pour out because we need to pour into ourselves first. Amen to that. I appreciate you saying that because I cannot agree more. Pouring into ourselves first and foremost every morning. That's the top of the list. That's number one. And everything that I do. How can I be the best version of myself for my partner if I'm not pouring into myself and refueling, rejuvenating? Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Similarly, what words of wisdom do you have for our gente who have not began their wellness journey? What would you like to tell them wherever they are, haven't begun or stuck or seasoned, active movers and shakers? What words of wisdom do you have for our gente?
I would definitely encourage them to reach out to someone else within their family or friends or community and
Mm,
just be curious. We don't have to jump into things to say that we've done it. You can be in this curious space to say, I wonder what it would be like to go out for a walk with my best friend. Or I wonder what it would be like to go to church and talk to someone afterwards and go for a walk. Or I wonder what it would be like to walk to go get my coffee instead of like having it ordered. So I would encourage them to be curious. And then in that space of curiosity, they can be as creative as they want to be. If they want to go out for a run, then great. If they want to go for a walk, then all good. If you want to download the Peloton app after this and check out mobility, then so be it. Try meditation and have this movement of the mind. Um,
mhm,
it's really up to you. So start with curiosity because you'll be surprised what that could lead to. And if you try
mm,
something, I would say try it at least 2 or 3 times before you say, like, I didn't really like that. And then
mhm,
the second part of that is to try it with someone else to see if you like it. And the third part of that is try something different. So if you try running and you're like, I don't think I like this, then go for a run with somebody. Make sure it's a slow jog that you keep a conversational pace. You don't want to overdo it. Maybe run for 10, 15 minutes. And then if you still feel like you don't like it, then the third, yeah, do something different. Maybe like, you know what? Maybe I'll walk instead. And I just invite everyone to start in that space because it's a more of an on ramp to what it
Mhm.
could turn into. You know, sometimes we go from 0 to 100, like, oh, I should be moving. I'm going to go run outside and run for 30 minutes or run for 3 miles. And then, of course, you're going to feel like most
Yeah.
people, I know I would,
Yeah.
you would feel, what's the word? Like, let down. You'll feel disappointed. That's the word. You'll feel disappointed. And if you don't, hats on to you. But it's hard to go from 0 to 100. So give yourself the best chance possible and just be curious.
Beautiful. Well said. I asked my previous guest to give me a question to ask my next guest. They had no idea who it was going to be. They have no idea who you are. So here's a question that they posed to my next guest, which is you. All right. What is your legacy that you want to leave?
The legacy that I want to leave, I would say it's one of using your generational strength to pay it forward to future generations. So I would want that to mean not just those within your own race or ethnicity or own communities, but really understanding that that generational strength can really be of value to so many other people. So in that way that you're continually paying it forward.
Mm,
So I
I
answer.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And last question for you, sis. Give me a question that you would like me to ask my next guest. You don't know who they are or who it's going to be, but give me one question that focuses on wellness, mental health, and or fitness for my
Yeah.
next guest.
Yeah, I would say the question that I would think about is kind of like, can I share a little bit of a quick story maybe?
Please, please,
Okay,
please,
yeah.
please.
So when I think about something like that, I asked this question once at a panel and I gave them the same synopsis story. So I remember being in the corporate world and my manager at the time was doing like a review, right? The annual review. She really wanted me to like work my way up, and there's certain qualities that I needed to quote unquote have to reach those leadership roles. And I remember her pointing out the type of leader that I was, which it was the things that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And again, for those listening, at the beginning of this podcast, very much came from a place of like shyness and timidness and a quiet voice.
Mhm.
And that's the type of leader that I was showing up as. And in that moment, and it took a lot for me to understand, but in that moment, I stuck up for myself. And I
Mm.
said, I'm quite comfortable and confident in the leader that I'm becoming. And it kind of shut down her point of view of like
Yeah.
turning me into this type of leader that wasn't the type of leader that I know that I'm to be. I really think back about the pieces of me that I may have seen as like a negative or pieces of me that I didn't realize really have built me into the leader that I have become. And so I would ask the next person on your podcast, what pieces of them are they surprised about from their past that have really shown up to allow them to become who they are now?
Mm. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ask them what pieces of their past
Yeah.
have allowed them to be the person who they are now. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
mm. I love it. Powerful. Powerful. Well, hermana, muchísimas gracias. I am grateful for your time and truly, truly am grateful for you joining me on Movement Es Medicina. Constantly inspired by you. I'm glad we connected first on LinkedIn, of course, in person in Philly for a number of events. Constantly inspired by you and what you're doing to uplift our sisters in this space. And please keep doing the damn thing. I'm definitely watching. I'm definitely following, learning from you. You paving the way for us brothers as well in this space too. So thank you for all that you do. Where can the gente find you? Where can people find you? Website, social media, where would you like them to find you?
Yes. So the website is vcpm.com. The social handle is at VCP Mitchell. And then for Game Changers, there's a page on my website that you can tap into. It's called Game Changers. We are soon going to have a separate Game Changers social handle. So look out for that. And then for Powered, there is a separate website. It's powered.com. That's PWRHERD. And then it has its separate social at Powered on IG. So yeah, those are several places that they can reach out, connect. And YouTube, it's VCPM Inc. on YouTube as well. All that's connected on my website though. So check out vcpm.com. You'll get all the connects.
Gracias, gracias, gracias. And again, thank you for joining me on Movement Es Medicina, Vanessa Peralta Mitchell. Thank you so much. Mi gente, remember, recognize your dopeness. I strongly believe we are all dope, educated individuals. Please like this episode, ask questions, give us feedback. Follow me on IG at SuperMarkRock. Follow me on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify podcast at Movement Es Medicina. Mi gente, gracias, paz y luz.